Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Game 1 of Real Racquetball. I'm Sudsy Monchik, your host. I'm joined by Executive Director of USA Racquetball, Mike Wedel, and we're here to talk real racquetball with everybody. You know, before we get started, we created this show, Mike and I, and obviously USA Racquetball, we created this show to be able to directly communicate to all of you, to the entire sport of racquetball. It was clear that, you know, what's going on in the world, this wasn't just about USA Racquetball, but we are definitely bringing it to you via USA Racquetball. This is about a sport, you know, as a whole. We hope everyone enjoys it, and of course, we hope you engage and get involved, and we'd love to hear your feedback. And this is Real Racquetball. I'm Sudsy. This is Mike Wedel. Mike, great to see you again, buddy. Just saw you last night, and you ready for Game 1?
I am ready for Game 1. I can't really say that I want to step on the court with you, but this forum, we're good to go. So thank you very much. And I want to personally welcome everybody that's tuning in to watch our first Real Racquetball show, Game 1. And I look forward to putting information out, whatever it is you want to hear.
Yeah, and just a little history. The reason that we came up with Game 1 and not Episode 1 or Show 1, we were really talking about all the things that we're facing, as a community, as a sport. And we're in a difficult match. We are in a big, long match. We don't know how many games it's going to go. Usually we like to get in and out of there and not play tiebreakers, but this is one of those matches that it could be a long one, could be a tough one. So we're going to dig in. We're going to, grind it out. Hopefully we'll be joined by all of you to help us through this. But this is Game 1. We're going to talk about a few topics. The shows are pretty much going to run about 30 to 40 minutes. We're open to everything and anything. We're not afraid of your questions, so bring them. Mike is not afraid. Mike's ready. We discussed that also. That was a real important thing when we came up with the name, Real Racquetball, right? So let's get to the first topic that everybody knows about. Unfortunately, it's affecting everybody on the planet. It's affecting every racquetball player worldwide. This is not obviously isolated to the United States. It's all over the place. COVID-19 and the effects of COVID-19. So, Mike, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to start first. None of these questions are scripted. We haven't discussed any of this stuff. This is from me, hopefully thinking like our racquetball family and friends across the world. What are some of the direct, negative effects that we felt, and be specific, from COVID-19? I know there's some obvious ones, but the people want to hear, the players want to hear, tell us, what has COVID-19 really done to racquetball?
Well, and like you said, the obvious one everybody knows about, the announcement last week of the postponement of the Open, canceling 3 of our national championships. All of those are the obvious effects we've had in racquetball. But really, to me, it's had a much deeper, broader effect on our sport as across the country and across the world. But there are a lot of clubs that are struggling right now to keep members. They're just not real sure whether or not they ought to have people on the courts playing or not. And I speak with people every day all across the country that are just asking questions about how do we get back playing? Well, there's really no easy answer to that because it's different everywhere you go. So we've really got to find a way to stick together on this and make sure that when the courts are available, when you can get on them and play, get on them and play. Grab somebody. I don't care if it's somebody that hasn't played in a while, whatever. Don't let your buddies stop playing, because if we don't keep the courts busy, they're going to take them out. They'll do something else with them. So, and for me personally, most all of my really close friends are all through racquetball. I haven't seen most of them in months now, and I tell you, that's a part of this that really hurts. And a lot of people I talk to, it's the family, community, friendships, playing 5 or 6 games and then going to have a beer or a soda or something and go out and hang out. I miss seeing all those people. I miss the tournaments. It sucks. Well, and to take that to a step further, all these people are not playing. Well, we're also not buying equipment, supplies, balls, rackets like they normally would. So the manufacturers are hurting. How do we know whether the clubs are going to come back? The manufacturers are struggling. How many of those guys are going to come back? And those are big sponsors for tournaments, national championships. So we depend on the retailers, the manufacturers, all of these folks that are part of our community. They're all hurting. So this is hitting a lot of levels that we just don't normally recognize as being the obvious sponsors. I mean, how many sponsors, restaurants, manufacturers, racquetball players that typically put money into their local tournaments? They're struggling right now. So we're going to have to figure out a way to get through this, and then help build those back. Those folks that have supported our tournaments, go out and buy from them. If it's a restaurant that supported your tournaments, go out and go visit them. Go out to eat at them. Help them out when they need our help. So this goes a long ways, other than just not getting to go play racquetball today.
Yeah, Mike, something that I really like and I appreciate, and today's world, obviously, with social media, I think it's super important that we all continue to post, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, wherever you are in the world, not just in the United States. Tell us if you're back on the court.
Right.
Obviously, I'm communicating with people all over the world, and I hear who's open, who's not. South America, Latin America, Central America, obviously North America and Europe. And we're coming up with different ways, but I think it's important to also show, hey guys, we're back on the court. Here's where we are. Here's what we're doing. Here's how we're going about it, because we could all use that help. Mike, have you heard of any courts or clubs? One of my main concerns when this happened was that we're going to lose a bunch of courts, to social distancing, right? Like people putting bikes in and people putting cardio machines into the court. Have you gotten word, or, we've seen some photos of LA Fitnesses and stuff like that doing that. Have you, what's your take on that?
They are. And we don't know yet if that's permanent. The hope is that it's going to be temporary, that once things get back to normal and the social distancing isn't as a big a requirement, that they'll take that equipment off of those courts. Had a meeting today where a large part of that discussion was who do we get a hold of? We've got several people looking for individuals, whether they're club directors or managers for LA Fitness. Lifetime, there's a couple Lifetimes here in Kansas City area. I went and visited the one out south. They've got 2 courts, and they're open, letting people play like it's a normal day. So I think that we're going to lose courts. I think that's inevitable. There were the ones that we're hanging on. Not saying that they're going to use this as the excuse, but it's kind of the tipping point for those clubs. If that happens, go reach out to them, find out how, why, see if you can help them. Put a group together. And we've heard a lot about that group in Mississippi that's got together, and they're doing everything they can to save their courts. So there are those possibilities all over. So if there's a club that's closing, it's got a court, 2 courts, or whatever it's got, and they're closing up, find out who to talk to. If you need some help, reach out to me. I'm good. I'll give them a call and ask if there's anything we can do. If they're looking to sell it, maybe you can put together a group. Most of that's going to have to happen from the local community, though. USA Racquetball is not going to go out and buy clubs. I've had people, you wouldn't believe how many people have called me and asked me why we aren't buying up all these clubs. Well,
Mike, that's it's funny you say that. That's been a topic of discussion for many, many years. That there's been many players and many members that say USA Racquetball needs a home base. I remember being a junior where it was a dream to have one, national facility where we had camps and training centers and big tournaments and events, and it never happened. And obviously there's so much that goes on and so much besides just money to make that happen. But, and I know it's not that easy. And yeah, that would be super cool. And when and if I get back to the States, I'll be the first one trying to raise the money to make that happen. But before we move on to the next topic, serious question again, real racquetball here. What about losing indoor players to outdoor? So before you answer that, I don't have a problem with that. At this point, it's like I said yesterday. As long as you have a racquetball racket in your hand and a racquetball, I don't care if you play against your refrigerator, okay? It's racquetball. Have you seen those effects yet? And what do you expect? And what are we, USA Racquetball, what are we doing to, either work together with outdoor racquetball or to even promote outdoor racquetball, as well as indoor?
Yeah. Well, we're at the office, we're promoting outdoor racquetball, and when it's safe and you can get outside and play, I strongly encourage it. You probably know, some people may not, that USA Racquetball purchased World Outdoor Racquetball, the brand, the name, that USA Racquetball bought that 3 years ago. And so we are World Outdoor Racquetball. We are WAR. You'll see the logo on the backdrop of this this presentation. So it's important. And the reason we got together and did that was because anybody can go play outdoor. Go to a park, you can pick up a racket. It's like a tennis court outside. You don't have to belong to a club. So go out and play. Get your kids to go play. Get your friends to go play. Get them hooked. And then most of the time, we really believe that'll equate into someone getting competitive and wanting to go indoor and play. I think there's a terrific synergy there. So we're promoting it. We are not discouraging it at all. So I don't want people that are indoor players to all convert and be outdoor players and never go back inside. Keep your memberships. Make your clubs know that you want to play, stay inside and play. Join a league. Get to stay on the court. Otherwise, they'll close those courts and you won't have any place to go back to. So don't lose the indoor court, but go outside and play. We've got a terrific group of players here in Kansas City that go out and play all the time. Fantastic. They're very social. You'll see them. They're posting all over. They've got a Facebook page. They've got an app that they join each other on. It's got to be social. And for the most part, those type of things, the group here in Kansas City that plays outdoor, they put that together themselves.
It's definitely, listen, like you definitely said what I've been saying for about 4 months now is COVID sucks. There's no doubt about it. But there might be some opportunities where we can unite the sport, the organizations, the associations on many different levels. So just to keep going here, Mike, I'm gonna get you to the next topic, okay?
Sure.
Let's talk about my favorite, the US Open. Obviously, the event, we know it has been postponed. It has been moved to 2021, which technically means that the event is not canceled. It's just postponed. Many people also don't know that the US Open is a USA Racquetball event. And that goes for international players worldwide. They all think it was a Doug Ganem event. Everybody thinks the US Open is Doug Ganem. And to be fair, it is. We associate the US Open with Doug Ganem, but Doug Ganem works for you and USA Racquetball for that event. So tell us how that affects USA Racquetball this year. I want to know financially how it affects it, participation-wise, what we expect and what we think, is going to happen for 2021, and how we're going to make sure that racquetball tournament, kicks ass like it always does.
It truly is one of my favorite events in the world. They heard me talk the other day. I told them that for the last 15 years, that's been my vacation every year. I packed up and went to the U.S. Open, sat and watched racquetball. It's fantastic. I love the U.S. Open. It is the Super Bowl for racquetball. But you're right. It was postponed, and it's going to happen next year. The 25th anniversary will happen next year, and there's a huge chance that it will be bigger than it would have been this year. I think there's going to be an enormous pent-up racquetball. So we're all going to go. We're going to celebrate in Minneapolis next year. But for this year, to your point, in asking what impact it had on USA Racquetball or will have on USA Racquetball, the U.S. Open is a major fundraiser for USA Racquetball. Typical year, USA Racquetball puts into its books about $80,000 to $100,000 off the U.S. Open. Last year,
I like that. Some real numbers, Mike. We appreciate that.
Well, and these are numbers that are on our financials. You can look them up online. We post our financials. Being a nonprofit, our financials are audited, and as soon as they're audited, which means to you that they've been checked by an outside source, so you can trust the numbers. That's what all the auditing means. But last year and this year, we were anticipating a much bigger input than that, than the typical 80 to 100. Participation was going to go up. Doug just does a fantastic job with sponsors. You heard him the other day talk about, he's got a waiting list for people to go in and watch the glass court. Incredible job. This thing has just grown into an enormous event. So we just immediately take that out of our budget. Now, I've been working on two scenarios. I say but I've got the treasurer for USA Racquetball, myself, and our accountant. We've been working on two budgets, one with and one without the US Open. And we've been working on these for 2 months, playing scenarios through. So what happens so that we're not caught off guard. So we're not surprised. I think everybody pretty much anticipated that we were not going to be able to hold the US Open. Nobody wants this to happen and be a dud. It would just be awful. We do not want to send Doug out. with a tournament that's got 150 people at it, and it just can't happen. So we'll wait till next year. And we've got plans. USA Racquetball will survive this. We're going to get through this, and we're going to be ready for next year when the US Open happens. But it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, we know that, and we know Connor Shane, the national events director, is the guy behind the scenes that's, going to be working hard to make the US Open happen as good as it always is.
Right.
What percentage of USA Racquetball, I know it's all public info, what percentage of USA Racquetball's budget comes from the US Open, though?
It's about 8%. So it's 8% is the US Open money. But
okay.
There's so much more to it than just the revenue from that event, though. All the memberships that aren't going to happen, because so many people equate their membership to a tournament. Well, exactly. we really want to change that narrative a little bit, and hopefully we can talk a lot about that here. That the value of USA Racquetball is way beyond that one event that you buy your membership for. So we need people to support USA Racquetball, buy their membership, whether there's a tournament coming or not, because it's what will help racquetball continue past this particular pile that we're in. So,
Mike, talk about the memberships a little bit, because I don't think everybody realizes how important the revenue stream for USA Racquetball is by, people signing up and renewing their membership. We did that big fundraiser, the rally together, or the promotion, I should say, to sign back up for your membership. Tell us about that, why it's so important, and what percentage of the budget are memberships?
Yeah, and membership is a much bigger percentage than the US Open. Membership is probably close to 30% of our total revenue. So it's a huge part of what we need to survive for USA Racquetball to function and operate the way it needs to do. And those memberships, we pay out of the membership price that's paid, $10 of the normal one-year membership goes back to the state. So the state gets however many people are in that state that buy a membership. We send a check to that state's association so they can do grassroots work. They sponsor juniors, and I've been on the state board for Kansas for years. And as long as I can remember, juniors don't buy memberships. We pay for all their memberships. We pay for a lot of their entry fees into tournaments. We bought them shirts and gave them a look, so when they went to other tournaments, they had a look to them. So states can do a lot of different things with that money that will help grow racquetball. Buy starter kits, promote junior camps, whatever. We don't dictate to the states what they do with that money. It's theirs to do grassroots racquetball work with. So that's a big part of what that membership does. The rest of it goes to USA Racquetball to help run the association throughout the year. And I get a lot of questions about what that means. What do we do? Well,
yeah, that was my next question. You answered one question, which was, does USA Racquetball assist or direct the state in how to spend that money properly in a way to help grow the sport? But you already answered that. That's up to the state. So then the next question is what you were about to say. Tell me, what are the benefits to being a member?
Well, the benefits are a couple different things. One, there's a direct benefit to me as a person, which those aren't as valuable to me as the benefits of racquetball as a whole. There's a lot of people who play racquetball that aren't members of USA Racquetball, and they get a lot of those same benefits. Some entity has to control who sets the rules, who controls those rules, who works in the international arena. You had Marcelo on the other day. I had a wonderful time meeting him when I was in Lima, Peru last year, and he was so thrilled when he saw me there that USA Racquetball was back involved in international play. We kind of stepped back as an association from international travel for the executive director. I met with a whole lot of people while I was there, and they were all just thrilled to death that USA was back in racquetball mode again, and we were going to help grow on an international level. And I know there were executive directors who have traveled. I'm not saying they haven't, but apparently they haven't recently, because they were all surprised that I was there. But there's a lot of that kind of work that needs to be done if we're going to grow racquetball as a sport, to make sure that the equipment stays within spec, promoted the national championships, I mean, to me are a huge benefit to all racquetball players, whether you go to them or not. In order for us to put the team together, we've got to have those national championships. There's got to be a reason for these kids to drive and train and practice and want to be on Team USA.
Hey, listen, I couldn't agree more. As a current member of Team USA, some of my best highlights and my experiences in the sport. This is a tough question, and it's real racquetball talk. So I want to know, if USA Racquetball disappeared tomorrow, what would players notice right away?
Well, the ones that just go to the club and play probably wouldn't notice anything for a while. But then there would be nobody out promoting international. I mean, there's no U.S. team then. There's the Hall of Fame, all the awards, all of the things that are the pomp and circumstance, but the celebration of racquetball would fade. To me, it just wouldn't happen. So I think over time, racquetball would decline at a much faster rate than it is now. And we have to solve why it's declining and get that turned around. And the best way to do that is for USA Racquetball to actually become a stronger organization, not weaker. I'll tell you, from the day I walked in the door, I've been preaching, and we've got to figure out a way to balance the budget first. 2021 was going to be the first year we did that. Obviously, that's not going to happen now. But we were going to balance the budget, and then we were going to grow our support team. How are we going to contact all of these clubs? Well, it takes somebody to do it. We were going to grow that. So those are the things that they're not really doing well now. And I will tell you, I completely believe that's why we're not growing racquetball. So my whole goal was to grow this and build it up so we could do those things. So those would be lost if there was no USA Racquetball. So it's really important. The infrastructure, all of the things that help support the states. And the states don't have it. If there's no memberships, the states kind of fall apart and on how they would survive. Well, all that grassroots work that happens around it, I mean, that would just be devastating to lose all of that from all the work that's being done. I mean, so there's the state work that's being done is just amazing.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And internationally speaking, I travel the world and represent Team USA and represent just the sport of racquetball. And I can tell you that everybody wants and needs USA Racquetball to succeed and do well. There's no doubt about that. Even if we're competing against them, they don't like to see us, just treading water. And the truth is, right now, I know we want to grow the sport, but we're in survival mode. There's no doubt about it. And moving on to the next topic, Mike, and this is how we've set up the show. We're going to set it up in segments. We're not running from anything. We're open to discussing everything. Obviously, when Mike and I discuss this, it had to be as transparent as possible. So if we don't get to a question, we're not ignoring it. We absolutely will cover it. And, this is a different time for USA Racquetball and racquetball as a whole, racquetball worldwide. So, Mike, let's get to something that is super interesting to me, because when you first mentioned this to me, I immediately thought of the All In campaign that was going on worldwide when COVID first happened. And, there were celebrities and sports stars, and they were donating their time and donating these amazing, prizes to raise money. So something that USA Racquetball is now involved in, and it's going to be starting up soon, is something called the Giving Games. Give me everything you got about that, because, I'm new to this too, and I know I'm going to be involved with it. So tell me what it is. Tell everybody listening and why we should be excited.
This is a really unique opportunity, and it was brought to us. All of the sports that are part of the USOPC, I'll use the term NGBs, but they're the national governing bodies for all the different sports, have come together and have hired a ad agency and a fund development company that is put together a program called the Giving Games, and its intent is to take up that void where the Olympics were supposed to be on everybody's mind on the TVs and all that kind of stuff. And there are 4 parts to the Giving Games. It starts this coming Friday. It will launch on, the 24th is the launch day, and it will run for 17 days. It is a really cool program. This thing's really, it starts August 24th and ends July 24th and ends August 9th is the start of the Medal of Giving. We're going to receive, they're making the medals now. We're going to receive a gold, silver, and bronze medal. And there's a fundraising campaign that's going to start. That's the Medal of Giving. And there's a website we're going to start promoting. There's an email that should go out. I believe it may even be going out yet tonight. If not, it's going to go out tomorrow morning. That will have a website on it. Go to that website and you can see who's first, second, and third for not only racquetball, but all of the other sports that are part of this giving games. And when we met with them on Friday, there were 25 of the sports, and they had 4 more they thought they were going to get added on. So we should have about 29 different sports that are part of this. So racquetball and all these other sports that are gymnastics and swimming and diving and all these other fantastic sports that typically are involved in the Olympics right now. So the medal giving, you'll see a lot of information coming about it. 100% of the money that's given to the Medal of Giving comes 100% to USA Racquetball. So when you see that, if $5, $10, whatever you can do, but then go on to the website and see who's leading. It'll have somebody's name and then a gold medal place, and it'll tell you how much money they've given. So if you see that, and you see that so-and-so is given $1,000 and he's in first place, and these are really cool gold medals, gold, silver, bronze, you can go back in. If you give $5 on the first day, you can go in and give another $1,000. You'll take first place because you've given $1,005. So watch that and follow that game as it goes along. We know that racquetball players are competitive. They've also want to help USA Racquetball. This is a great way to do both, and hopefully end up with this really cool medal.
Yeah, that sounds cool, Mike. I know we discussed that a little bit about the levels of competing, because it's also going to be sport specific for each sport. So to sum it up, basically it's any Olympic sport we've ever seen is going to be part of this fundraiser. Racquetball is also part of that. We can directly donate or give to racquetball, which comes to us, or you can just donate directly to the giving games, which kind of spreads out to everybody. Tell us exactly how you donate. I was interested in how you told me it's not like a direct donation. You're actually buying chances, correct? Or like a chance to win something?
That's one of the other pieces. There's an auction/sweepstakes that's being run also, and it's run by a company called Omaze, and they've assured us they're going to have 10 items, and these items that they're putting up are big things. One of they did for another. They do fundraisers for a lot of national sports, NBA, NFL teams, all these big national things. But they gave away a Lamborghini that was blessed by the Pope. They do a lot of celebrity things. They've done Leonardo DiCaprio, Serena Williams, a lot of these folks where you'll get to either go meet with them or go to a set with them, or a lot of different things. So these are really going to be intriguing items. So when this launches, go see what these are, and you buy tickets. You're exactly right. So you can go on and buy, I think the tickets are $10, but I'm not positive. But you go and buy them, and you get a chance to win these items, and these items will be given away, and they'll list who won them. But the more tickets you buy, the more chance you have to win whatever these are. And you pick which of the items you want to put your money towards. Really cool. Each of the items, they've told us, will generate $125,000 for the pool. Now that goes into a pool with all of the sports. So once this is all done, they'll take that whole pool of money and divide it up among all the sports that are participating in this. So we have a huge opportunity to generate some money for USA Racquetball. Which is why there's strength in getting in a group of other sports, other people, all of these cool items. We're going to set a world record on August the 8th. There's a 24-hour period. You'll be in this information will be coming out shortly. There'll be a text number. You text in and donate. Donate $5. Doesn't matter. Get your friend to donate $5. And the Giving Games is going to set a new world record for the most donations in a 24-hour period. So you can be a part of setting a new world record. How cool is that?
Well, we're definitely going to do everything we can to set any records we can. I see a lot of comments running through. We got to wrap it up here because there is a time limit. But there's a lot of comments about, can USA Racquetball do this with money? And I see one, asking about sponsoring LA Fitness to keep indoor courts intact. I don't think people realize the financial strain and effect COVID really had on USA Racquetball specifically, but racquetball worldwide. So for any of you or members or anyone else, take a look at what it's done to the economy worldwide, and just imagine our small little sport, how it's affected us. We're going to do everything we can to survive. We're going to keep working hard. We're going to get this show wrapped up. This is game one. And, we want you to enjoy it. This is game one. We don't know how long this match is going to be, but let me just answer Sean Walter in the chat room. He says, if I were to donate $1,001, will Sudsy hit a ball all the way up to me from Ecuador? So Sean, I don't know where you are, but I tell you this, I promise I'll stand right here on this terrace and blast one somewhere, wherever you might be, and it'll get close enough. Randy Root commented, he said maybe he should have waited for his donation. Randy, absolutely not. That was tremendous timing. Anytime you give $100,000 to us, that helps. So, just get involved, because I know you want to be first on the list and you want to win that gold medal of who donated the most money. So we expect to see you there. With that, everybody, Mike, we're going to say goodnight. We will see you again for game 2, and that will be August 3rd at the same time. But between now and then, we will continue to do everything we can to communicate to all of you what's going on in racquetball, what's going on in USA Racquetball, certainly the giving games, and any concerns, any questions you have, anything you want us to cover, don't be afraid. Shoot us messages, email us. You can contact USA Racquetball, easy. But we will see you soon, and thanks for joining us tonight on Game 1. And don't forget, we are Racquetball.
Good night, everybody, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you in a couple weeks.